So Tara, what do you do? Tell me about your business.
Hi there. I'm a soul reader, an energy healer, and a spiritual teacher. I'm the founder and CEO of the Live in Light Academy, and I'm a transformational speaker and author.
Nice. And how does your work brings value to others?
Gosh, that's a big question. So I guess the main thing that I really bring in all aspects of my work is being able to see somebody for who they truly are. I have a multi-range extrasensory abilities, which means that I'm very clairvoyant, I'm very clairaudient, I'm very empathic. I can really see, hear, feel, connect with people on a very, very deep level. It actually means I can see their past, present and future all as one thing. I can see their multi-dimensionalness, if you like. I can see your mind, your emotions, into your physical body, and I can read your soul energy. So what that means is that I'm able to show a person who they really are. I'm like a mirror for people to see themselves. And also the great value in this is having somebody else see who we are. Because I believe that until we're truly seen by another person and validated for who we are, we never let that part of ourselves come out to play. It's always sort of hidden in the background. It never fully develops. Does that make sense? So the greatest value, I think, is to really truly see somebody for who they are, understand their uniqueness, and help them to bring that out of themselves and to bring it into the world and to guide them on that path of what they're really supposed to be doing in this life, what their divine purpose is, if you like, what their soul purpose is. So I think that's the greatest value that I help people with.
And have you ever had challenges with your self-love and your self-value?
Oh, certainly. Many, many times. There's been many bumps along the road. Actually, I can actually just think of a time right now where I'd really wandered off my path. I really had stopped valuing what I was doing, even though I was traveling, I had full classes, I'd been doing really, really well. But something deep inside of me couldn't quite believe my own value, couldn't quite believe my self-worth. And I always struggled with that actually as a child, with my self-worth issues. So I kept wanting to stop doing my business and go off and do something else. And this one time I'd invested many years into another project very close to my heart. And I thought I was going to make this huge impact in the world. I thought that this would be more valuable. This new project would be more valuable to the world and therefore give me more value. And really, when I break it down afterwards, what I really wanted was just to be able to have my own home. And I never thought I would reach it. I never thought I was good enough, that anything I did in life would ever be worth enough money to anybody else that I could ever actually have my own home. So I did this enormous project. I put in many, many years of work, and this experience nearly broke me. I mean, to be honest, it did break me, but I think I'm almost unbreakable in this respect. But in this certain time, I was actually living in a field, miles from anywhere. The people that I was doing the project with had all pulled out. Everything had collapsed. My partner that I was working in this project with abandoned me and left because he couldn't cope with the stress. And I'm in this really old caravan, 12 foot long, abandoned in a field with nothing, with one of my children. My other child was at his dad's house, but I was with this 10-year-old son. And I tell you what, I never felt such a failure in all my life. If we could put a level on my self-esteem and what I thought I was worth, it was below zero. It was way down into the negative. I fell into that black hole. It was like, have you ever had that experience where the rug's pulled out from underneath your feet and then the walls come crashing in and then the ceiling comes down on your head? I mean, it was like that for me. I was just in this space of where everything went blank and I couldn't think and I couldn't cope. And I really didn't know what I was going to do next. So that definitely has to be my lowest, my hardest challenge.
When does it happen?
That was about 4.5 years ago.
And how did everything change?
So I think that it's an internal change. What happened for me was living in that. I didn't tell you the rest of the story actually. What ended up happening, I didn't just stay in the field because they kicked us out of the field. So that was bad enough. And then the only place that I could find to put this caravan was in a car park at the back of an industrial estate. I mean, can you imagine living with your child in a car park? It was humiliating. And I was there for 2.5 months until I found my way to get out. So what happened was, in that moment, feeling that low made me realize I could never put myself in that position ever again. When I felt like I'd failed my business, I'd failed my community, I'd failed my children, I'd failed my partner, I'd failed myself, I'd failed everybody. And I realized that the reason I'd failed was because I hadn't valued what I had in the beginning. I hadn't valued myself enough. I hadn't loved myself enough, and I was willing to give everything away to serve other people, and I wasn't serving myself. And so in that moment, I remember just actually getting out of the caravan and getting into this new house and having that realization of, I will never do that again. I'm worth more than I realize. Even if I can't realize it, I'm worth so much more, and I need to start valuing who I am, so that I can make a difference in the world. And, if I really want to help others, I have to value myself. Not valuing myself meant I didn't help anybody. I failed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah? So crucial. That was such a crucial lesson in my life to value myself. I mean, it was life-changing.
So what could you tell why self-value is important?
Yeah, because if you don't know your self-value, and you don't value yourself, what I've realized is you don't really have a true value for anything else in life. It's like you will let everything slip through your fingers. You will let everything of value slip away from you. You will self-sabotage. Even when you're in a relationship with someone you love very much, if you don't value yourself, you will lose them. And we think it's the other person leaving us, but no, it's because we didn't value ourselves enough. If you really think about it and feel what that means. So we have to value ourselves, and if we don't, then it means that we're not going down the right path in life, I think. We're not making the most of the blessing that we are, of the preciousness of our own life. We're not appreciating ourselves. We're not making the most of our unique and special gifts that we've been given, that we're born with. And if we're willing to throw all of that away, then that's what will happen. Life will mirror that back. We will end up not having the things that we're searching for. The irony in my story, I'm looking for a house. I just want a home. And I end up in a caravan in a car park. I get the very opposite of what I'm searching for, but the equal match of what I believe I'm worth. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the more you value yourself, the more value you will have in your life, for sure.
So what advice could you give to somebody who's struggling with self-value?
I would immediately say get help. Don't try and do that on your own, or you could, and you could scrabble around and, get into the darkest situation like I did. But one of the things that really helped me turn around was having someone in my life who valued me. And them helping to see me. And so I would recommend somebody, just like I said in the beginning, the value that I give to others is to see who they really are. And when we can't see who we really are for ourselves, we need a mirror. We need somebody to show us. And we need to have the eyes to be willing to see. We need to be ready for that transformation, because if we're not, it won't happen. But we also need that mirror. We need somebody who's going to help us to see ourselves. And that is invaluable.
Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.